All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. Um, this video is going to be about LibertyCon and all the fun that we had, and talking about our favorite things and things we want to see next time. First, we're going to do introductions, and so I don't mess anybody up. When you see your face real big on the screen, go ahead and introduce yourself and uh, plug all your socials. And first up, we have Marisa.
Oh, rude. Hi, Maurice Wolf. You can follow me on Instagram at BookDogs, or you can go to my website, www.mauricewolf.net or .com. Take your choice. Take now.
Now we have Mr. Mark Stallings.
My name's Mark Stallings. You can find me on my website, markstallings.com. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Parler, Patreon, all under Mark Stallings.
Oh, so pushing buttons and they're not working. John?
Hi, I'm John R. Osborne, and you can find me at johnrosborne.com, on Facebook at John R. Osborne, Instagram at John R. Osborne. You can also find me at chriskennedypublishing.com.
All right. Ian?
Hey guys, I'm Ian J. Malone, courtesy of the Dudes in Hyperspace podcast. You can find me online at ianjmalone.net. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. So come hang out.
Oh, Melissa?
Hey, I'm Melissa Olthoff. You can find me at www.melissaolthoff.net because I copied what Marisa did because she's lovely. You can also find me on Facebook at Melissa Olthoff-author. It's my public page. And here, apparently.
And the boss.
Hey, y'all. I'm at chriskennedypublishing.com, and you can find me on Facebook.
All right. Okay, so I think we're going to switch to this view. So first things first, we're going to go around the table and talk about the panels that you were a part of or attended, and describe them and what you liked about them and all that good stuff. Let's start with the Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Kennedy, since he's the VIP on the channel today.
Yeah, I was blessed to be the Master of Ceremonies for LibertyCon, which meant that I was as busy as the proverbial one-armed paper hanger. I didn't even make it to opening ceremonies before I had my first thing, which was the Chris Kennedy Publishing Year Ahead, which turned out to be one of my favorite panels that I was on anyway. We got to look at all of the things that were coming for CKP. Got to give out show some new art. Got to tell some people about some new books that were coming. And got to make some major announcements, like the fact that Bain had picked up the Murphy's Lawless series. Kevin Eikenberry's Protocol Wars were coming to CKP. Lots of cool things like that. Also, then started doing Master of Ceremonies things. We sang "You've Lost That Loving Feeling" to Brandy, which I think just about everybody, actually, I think everybody here on the show was part of that as part of the CKP choir. I got down on one knee, as the song goes, and we all sang "You've Lost That Loving Feeling." She'd been married since the last time they did LibertyCon live, so that was a lot of fun. And after that, there was a whole lot of master ceremonies kind of things, announcing things, running here, running there. Didn't do too many other panels. Couple did the LibertyCon one for the anthology, and ended with the Four Horsemen panel, which was just a lot of fun. Marisa.
Oh, hi. Sorry, my internet is being a little special because Jeremy and I are sharing internet. Yeah, I also was at the CKP panel. I got to talk about Valkyrie's first anthology coming to you soon, September 16th. Get ready. Ran to opening ceremonies. I sang super on key, as you can tell. I'm very good at that. I was also on the Give Me Liberty. Yeah, there was silence. Sorry, Steverson. There was the Give Me LibertyCon panel where I got to sit between Dave Butler and Tony Weisskopf, and shenanigans ensued because we got a musical accompaniment from the giant Indian wedding next door. So there was a lot of dancing, which was pretty great. My 3 big panels that I was on were Saturday. So I did science fiction, mystery, and noir. And I will tell you my favorite moment from that later when we do favorite moments. But it involves giving a legend of science fiction the full body, like grossed out shudders. And I feel great about it. Did some fun improv stuff with Jody Lynn Nye and John Osborne and Jim Bell. John, if you can ever see John Osborne at a xenoarchaeology panel, you should. I hope he talks about it. It is one of my favorite things in the history of cons. That was great. And then finished on a high note with the 4 Horsemen panel, where we got to talk about the aliens that we love and new projects and all the good stuff.
Thank you, Marisa. Mark?
So I got to lead off with the Chris Kennedy panel the year ahead, talking about Eldros Legacy. My book comes out July 12th, so I'll be book 6 in the Legacy. That was a lot of fun. 2021 was the CKP year of anthologies, and so I made the run. I had a Salvage Universe anthology, a Fallen World anthology, 4 Horsemen panel. I think the most entertaining one for me was a writer walks into a biker bar, and I'll tell why here in a little bit.
All right. John?
Well, of course, we had the CKP panel and then all the various universe panels from stuff writing. So, the 4 Horsemen universe, the Salvage universe, and the Fallen World. Those are always fun to talk about. And then there's the xenoarchaeology panel with Marisa, where somehow you take an introvert, but then put on a pair of silly goggles and a hat and become someone else. And then we also had our another play run for the rules of engagement, our 4 Horsemen universe Savage World rules. Get that all out. And that went well, except for the one guy who died in the first round and said, "Well, I'm not having fun." It doesn't matter, you're dead. So
Somebody has to die.
hey, at least this time it wasn't a friendly fire. That's usually what happens.
All right. Next up, we have Ian.
Yeah, I was on a lot of the same panels as the folks here. We started out on Friday with the CKP Year Ahead, which was basically like a giant family reunion. So never a bad time there. Did opening ceremonies and was proudly part of the CKP choir to serenade Brandy. So that was a ton of fun. Saturday, we shifted gears to Salvage Title, which that's always a panel just because, Kevin, who's the series creator and the moderator for those, just really knows how to just let the panelists roll. So it really turns into a giant free for all where the audience gets involved and everybody's just telling stories about what they love about the universe. And that was a great time. And then I closed out on Sunday with the 4HU panel, which was spectacular because as it turned out, there was nothing booked for the second hour, which meant that panel got to run long. We got to answer questions from the audience. We got to, banter back and forth as authors about the things that we love about the 4HU and really just take our time in that one. So all in all, just great panels to be a part of and just a great event to be a part of as always.
And now, last but not least, Melissa.
This was actually my first LibertyCon. So I actually started off Friday with the newbies, the first timers panel. moderated by the fantastic John Ringo. So that was a blast. It was a great way to start off the day. CKP Year Ahead was freaking fantastic. All the new cover art and all the new stuff that we've got coming out. It was so much fun to be a part of that. Opening ceremonies, of course, everybody already talked about. You've lost that love and feeling, and I've been singing it on and off for days now. Thank you. And of course, Salvage and Fallen World panels were on Saturday. That was a lot of fun, especially because I wasn't expecting to be on the Fallen World panel, so that was great getting pulled up there.
Bonus panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, bonus panel.
High five for the bonus panel. I totally forgot because I was.
It was great.
All right. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to go around again and talk about what our favorite panel, whether you were on it or you were watching the panel or what have you. And we're going to go in the same order. Our boss man, if you wouldn't mind.
Certainly. If you don't count the CKP Year Ahead as a panel, since it really wasn't, I'm going to have to say the Four Horsemen panel. And that was for a number of different reasons. One, it's tremendously energizing. It gets me going. I'm writing 2 stories right now in the 4HU with Marisa. And it's always fun because the energy of the readers is great. The energy of all of the authors is great. And it's like coming home. We've been immersed in the 4HU for 5 years now. And I actually said to Marisa when we were about done, I said, it's great when you don't have to spend a lot of time preparing for a panel because you know it so well, and you can just come and go, wow, this is great. And what do you like? And what do I like? And, just go back and forth. It was a great time. The camaraderie of all the people that are, that write in the 4HU is I think unmatched in anything that I've been part of. And so CK or the 4HU panel would be my favorite.
You're muted.
I said many brilliant things. They're gone now. You're welcome. You know what? 2 years of video, and yet still here we are. I loved everything. I can't pick a favorite. Rich Groller and his team do an amazing job with programming, and I feel like this year they did 3 years of highlights in 1 year. But the 4HU panel was a delight. It's so much fun to talk with that group of people about that stuff. So I'm going to pick the xenoarchaeology one, although they were all my favorites, mostly because John is hilarious and can tell you a lot about evacuation portals. Also, I cracked up.
Creeped out.
That's right. I cracked up Jody Lynn Nye at one point and made me really happy. But yeah, everybody on that panel had so much fun, and I would do that panel again in a heartbeat. So,
all right, Mark.
So is BarCon a panel?
Oh, where do we see that?
yes, it is.
There you go.
Good answer, Yvonne.
BarCon's a programming track.
It should be. They're just, I'm not even talking about the drinking, just the fact that, we had discussions about everything under the sun and marketing strategies and advertising and book plotting. I mean, that's for me, that's the most fun part of going to any con. But the panels, I mean, we're talking about panels. Honestly, maybe not panels like what Chris was saying, but the CKP Year Ahead. I mean, I get excited about upcoming projects and what everybody's working on and seeing what the crew's doing. And for me, that's the most. It's our version of the Bain Roadshow, and I think it's more fun because we're participating.
All right, thank you, John.
Wow, that's a hard choice because the xenoarchaeology panel is a hoot.
You had way too much fun with that.
Yeah, well. But the 4HU panel, I think, holds a special place for me because my first LibertyCon was also when my first published story ever came out, which was in A Fistful of Credits, the first 4HU anthology. So there's that whole nostalgia thing as far as my writing career goes, and then just the fans that come for that. And it's just really, really motivating as an author to hear that enthusiasm from the fans, and to know that people want to see what you're writing.
All right. Next we have Ian.
So I'm actually going to throw in with the salvage title panel for my favorite one of the weekend. They were all awesome, but selfishly, I'm going to go with salvage for two reasons. One, I got to debut the Argonauts, Sakala City Argonauts jersey, which I've been sitting on for like 5 months, you guys. Like, seriously, it was everything I could do not to bring that dude to Fantasy. But I wanted to hold off for LibertyCon, and so I finally got to break that out. And I've been really proud of it for some time. I was a little on the fence about what I was going to think of the design until it finally reached my house. And then I loved it just because I'm a sucker for navy blue and neon green, and they did me right. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, there are pictures on social media. Go check them out. The other reason I really had a blast at that panel, aside from what I mentioned earlier about just how loose and fun it was Last Argonaut is the book I'm working on right now. It's set in salvage title. And and I've said this from the beginning, it's going to be a very different style of story. Yes, it's got a lot of the tropes and a lot of the things everybody loves about salvage, but it's a much more boots on the ground story in that it's a sports story. It is, it's in many respects, it's the Replacements, it's Major League with a twist of Friday Night Lights and some Varsity Blues thrown in for good measure, set in space. And that's a bit of a gamble. And so LibertyCon was really my first opportunity to kind of really put that concept out in front of some people. And I just kind of made the offhand comment, although like very calculated. All right, how many sports fans we got in the house? Make some noise, on the hope that I didn't get crickets. And what I got was a thunderclap back. So that made me very happy, like took my stress load down about 1,000. And after that panel, I was like, all right, I definitely got to get home and get to work so we can get this puppy cracked out by the end of summer. So salvage fans are awesome, just like 4HU fans. They took exquisite care of me. And for that reason, I'm going to stand by the salvage title panel as being my highlight of LibertyCon 2022.
That's awesome.
Thank you, sir. And Melissa?
Salvage. I'm sorry. That's just, I love it so much. It's my home.
Salvage Bunny.
I am the Salvage Bunny, y'all. And it was so cool outside of certain slips of the tongue that I will talk about later.
So to speak.
I had some fans come up to me afterwards and ask if there was going to be any Salvage Bunny merchandise. And I'm just like blown away. Like, you really like Salvage Bunny? That's just so freaking cool. And I got to talk about what Nick and I are working on, and y'all, it's gonna be amazing, and no seriousness whatsoever. So it's gonna be great. Yeah. That was absolutely my favorite.
Cool. And my favorite, selfishly, was the year ahead with CKP because I got to live stream it, which was great. And so hopefully we'll be doing more of that at conventions. Let's see. All right. Next, did you attend any events outside of the panel, and what were those? And go ahead and spill the beans on any shenanigans if there were some. Again, with the boss man.
Other things. Well, I had a number of things that I had to do with the guests and the guests of honor. Whether there was a luncheon, which was super cool. Doing the guest of honor speeches was it was the best of times, and it was the best of times. Had a lot of fun doing that. Had a lot of fun doing the Master of Ceremonies for the Masquerade. I didn't know I was doing it until 5 minutes prior. So that made it a little bit challenging. Once my heart jumped, went back into where it was supposed to be, then it got better. And if I think if I'd have had about half an hour's notice, I would have been so super psyched that I'd have been laughing the whole time, and let's get ready to rumble, and all of those kinds of things. But even still, it was a lot of fun. I think the shenanigans, hanging out at the bar, seeing everybody again, that truly was the best part of the weekend, though.
Awesome. All right, now Marisa.
The masquerade was awesome. Boss, I had no idea you had just found out about it. You were great. Like you said, everybody's name right. There was no stumbling. I would have been all over the place. But especially at the masquerade, one of my friends wore like 4.5 foot stilts. She was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 feet tall. Tara, she's such a rock star, and she like walked. It was crazy. She looked amazing. You guys should definitely go to the LibertyCon page and check out pictures. All the cosplayers look great. But that was really fun to just like woo. One of my
picture of her with Brandy was hilarious.
That is so great, because Brandy and I are about the same height, I think. So Brandy's like 5 foot something, and Tara was like 9 feet tall. I don't even know how tall she was, but it's an amazing picture. You guys should go look for it. And one of my favorite events at LibertyCon that is not a panel is karaoke. So that I can't sing, I cannot carry a tune, but I can shout with great enthusiasm. And we were there until 2 a.m, and I am an old lady now, so I'm still recovering from that. There were many shenanigans, but what happens at karaoke stays at karaoke, I hope. So that's me.
Mark.
Well, the nice thing about karaoke is that it's not like you're getting up there by yourself and just letting it loose.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a bonus. I mean it's more
That's
like
pretty
choir or group singing.
Yeah, it's a
I mean the whole room carries it. So I mean that's always fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me the non-panel event was opening ceremonies. I mean I getting Chris's idea for us to all get up there and do You Lost That Loving Feeling. I mean that was so much fun, and then just the fact that we haven't been there in 3 years. I mean, we were all in the same room, and it was happening, and it was real. And Chris did a fantastic job. I mean, it was just awesome.
All right. Oz?
I'm a little bit biased, but for me, it was the Rules of Engagement playthrough. It was supposed to be 2 hours, and I'm supposed to have an hour in the author's alley after that. And about an hour and a half into the game, I'm like, yeah, forget the author alley. We're going to keep playing.
We're going to keep killing players.
All right. Ian?
So, newsflash, I'm a bit of a music nut. And I would say that, beyond karaoke, wanted. Sorry.
So
I want to say special thanks to Eikenberry and all the other guys for totally hanging me out to dry on that. That was our pick. And I just so happened to make a bar run as they were putting the ticket into the bucket, to let people know that we were going to sing. And I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to go grab a beer before it's our time. So I get to the bar, and the little girl behind the bar is like, just so you know, we're getting ready to close down. It's like, okay, well, give me 2. I went back to the karaoke lounge and made the fatal mistake of saying, guys, they're closing the bar.
Yeah.
Whoosh, everybody beelines to the bar, which leaves yours truly as solo for Wanted, Dead or Alive. But I had a wonderful chorus of ladies who jumped in to catch my back.
The ladies jumped in. Let's be clear. We had you.
They totally saved my bacon. There was practically Ride of the Valkyries coming in.
Yeah,
as we got to the stage, So karaoke was definitely fun, but also sticking with the music theme. Melissa and I actually got to sit around with Kevin J. Anderson for about 20 minutes late on, I think it was Friday night, talking books and music and getting a chance to rap classic rock music with Kevin and bounce around bands that we had found on Spotify or on YouTube that maybe, the other person hadn't heard before, and just kind of taking mental notes of new things that I wanted to go home and check out, whether it's just because I wanted to hear the band or maybe I want to try and write to it. That was really just a lot of fun. Super nice guy. That was the first time I'd ever had a chance to interact with him. Total gentleman, total pro, and total music nut. So that always rides well with me. But that was some of my funner moments at LibertyCon.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah, that conversation with Kevin was amazing. Thank you, Chris. You kind of helped us out there. Found out that we both love Within Temptation. Total, like he put it as a European goth chick metal bands. And the second he said Within Temptation, I'm like, that's like half my theme music for my Depic companion novel. It's amazing. So, that was great. I'm kind of like Ian. I love to sing. I'm also like Marisa. I can't sing at all, but I am very enthusiastic about it. So karaoke is amazing because it's not this terrifying, oh God, I'm getting up in front of everything. It's literally like group singing in a room, whether you're up at the mic or not. A highlight for me with that was Casey Moore's and James Chandler. We're going to do I blanked on his last name for a second. Sorry, James. We were going to do karaoke back at Fantaside 2 years ago, and they shut it down on us. And it was for James's winning story submission for the Songs of Valor. So we finally got to do it. He picked Tub Thumping. Tub Thumping? Yeah, sure. That sounds right. Because his guy kept getting right back up. So that was great. I think it was recorded, unfortunately.
Nothing says karaoke like Chumbawamba. Just putting that out there for all the Gen Xers in the audience.
Drink a vodka drink. You drink a lager drink. It was well done.
It was there was so much energy. It was great. So that and hanging out at the bar and getting to plot and scheme and just catch up with everybody. It was amazing.
Thank you. My favorite non-panel event besides talking Mark and Ian's ear off about talking shop was I got to live stream our good buddies Rob's wedding during the con, so because he was scheduled at the same time, and so that I took great privilege in doing that. And but in addition to that, of course, karaoke, but getting drunk with everybody was pretty cool too. I really enjoyed that. Just catching up with everybody and all that was great because now I'm looking forward to FactoryCon. So, all right, let's see. So the reason we're all here, that we all showed up today, is the Herd at Con segment. Okay, so this is gonna be a bit of a free for all. No piling on, please. And so I'm going to start off, and I stole this from somebody, and it was sometimes evil just smells good.
That's a good one. I think Melissa should go next. Just a thought.
Yeah, for her first time at FactoryCon, I mean, she had some beauties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to give her center stage for this one.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you. I will remember this, Jeremy, just so you know.
You are welcome.
I know.
All right, folks. So things that you learn when you are in the military or just in life in general. You always start a story with, so there I was. 10% truth, bare minimum. And if you make a mistake, you frickin' own it, because otherwise it's so much worse. So while I was trying to help out my buddy Casey.
There I was.
There I was
No
trying to help out a brother because he was getting down on himself, being like, I'm the lowest dude here. I'm like, no, your story was amazing. I'm totally going to put salvage anal in my book. At some point I meant salvage angel.
Dr. Montana Smith is intrigued.
But,
yes. Evacuation.
Sometimes shit happens, especially when you're talking about salvage anal.
Literally. Oh, sorry.
I almost wet myself when I heard that.
And you know what? As bad as everybody else teased me, nobody teased me as much as my husband did. So
that's the right
That's
call.
his duty.
That's why I love him.
Duty. My favorite part about this is not only everybody giggling about it for 3 days. It was also, I was on my way somewhere and Kevin and Stacey Steverson. We can make this a group. This doesn't need to be just my face. That's no. Thank you. So the Steversons stopped me in my tracks in the hall. Kevin's like, "Did you hear what Melissa just said in this panel?" And I was like, "I did 5 steps ago, but tell me again." And he did. And then we were all just like chortling in the hallway, and it was fantastic.
It was early.
Just the joy you brought everyone, Melissa. So good.
I do what I can.
And you see what Nick Steverson just said.
I
Pretty
totally
sure
set it up
she
like
said
this.
what she said, and it wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
I think that needs to go to the Wild Stallions in print.
That probably so. Melissa would rock it. We know.
I have been threatening to like crush you all in the ratings with Peck Fic for like months now. I should totally do it.
You should just do it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You got to really commit to that savage anal. So that's what I hear.
Salvage.
I don't think that's what you said. For the record, I heard savage. Just saying.
So did Alex Rath.
Exactly.
Kevin Steverson backed me up, though. He had my back.
Okay.
Wow, phrasing, just phrasing.
So to speak.
We doing phrasing anymore? No? Okay.
No.
All right. Who's
Thanks,
going to
Nick.
follow that?
No.
I can
That's
follow that.
great. You can't.
Well, Oz, I do. I don't know if you can do it on the spot, but I do want to hear your professor impersonation that you.
Ooh,
did
do you have your hat?
All right, hang on a second.
He's gonna
All
get
right,
the
somebody
props.
else talk while he's
Wait.
looking.
God, Nick.
So one of
right.
my favorite Heard at Cons
Mhm.
was when somebody was talking about pimping out Nick Steverson.
That's well done. That's also Melissa.
That is totally me.
Okay.
So
Hey,
mine
you
actually-
wasn't able to be there. I was helping him out.
Yeah.
Mine actually came late in the game. Mine was Sunday afternoon. So there I was, standing at the urinal in the men's room. Two
Oh.
other gentlemen.
Thanks
And,
for painting
you know,
that picture.
You never. I'm a storyteller, man. I'm all about setting the scene, dude. It was an actual urinal. It was not a trough like you would
Oh.
see in a stadium. Missed those,
Great.
by the way. But
I didn't
two other
know.
gentlemen standing to my left. You make no eye contact. That's the rule and etiquette in the men's room. You don't make eye contact. There's no need for that. You just mind your business. You leave. So we're all standing there. Nobody's saying a word. It's quiet as it's supposed to be in the men's room. Out of nowhere, I hear, "I'm sorry, is my helmet in your way?"
Oh. Great.
I paused just long enough to wash my hands, and I was out of there.
That
That's it.
Heard at Con.
That's amazing.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here
wait.
he is. Not me. Not my face.
Wait for it.
Here we go.
Hello, I am Dr. Montana Smith. I have taken the proper archaeological nomenclature of geological place name and common surname. I have the appropriate head garment and, of course, the archaeological whip.
The whip, which gets a little melty in room temperature.
There is a pill for that. Dr. Smith has a certain expertise, some might call it an unhealthy fascination with evacuation portals. Unfortunately, we did not get to my artifact, which I find
Oh, yes,
most
please.
intriguing in the subject matter.
Speaking of savage anal,
Savage.
Yes, Dr. Smith wants to talk to you.
What I get.
oh,
I
boy.
would like to throw it in Melissa's defense. I was on that panel, and I did indeed hear salvage with an L. Now, anal happened all day long. That was there.
I mean, you gotta commit.
But
You gotta commit.
salvage was indeed the final word. Just
Hey,
all,
see, and
all
you're
about
good.
stamina, I guess.
I mean, to be clear, I don't know that the salvage part was the really tricksy part, but that's fine. That's
I mean,
fine.
we,
you're going to quote me.
we do
Yeah.
what we can.
We do. We can.
Poor
There's
Casey.
no-
I was trying to help him, and I yep. Mhm.
But Savage is funnier, so
It is.
I can
It
see
is
why
much
it's changed.
funnier.
Absolutely funnier.
All right.
Oh my
So, favorite thing about LibertyCon 2022, and let's go in order.
Oh, we did
Boss
so
man.
good.
Favorite thing. Well, the weekend went by like, I don't know, like it was only 5 minutes long. I mean, I showed up there Thursday and then we were leaving on Monday. And I'm like, wait a minute, did I just lose 5 days of my life? Where did that go? Because on Friday I was scheduled at noon, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, plus some other things in and around that. Plus trying to get everything set up for the various things. And it seemed like I was go done. And it's like, the one thing I really feel that, I know I spent some time in the bar talking with folks, but I didn't spend enough time in the bar talking with folks. Haven't seen a lot of them in a couple of years, aside from Fantasy, which we did actually spend plenty of time in the bar, and I got to talk to folks. But this time it seemed like I missed out on folks. But the times that we were hanging out in the bar, without having to talk about a specific subject or a panel or talking with folks at a signing table, which is kind of contrived. Just getting to relax with friends that I hadn't seen in a while was without a doubt the best part.
Can we, before we go to another single person, can we tell Kevin Steverson's story, because it was amazing.
Oh my God, so for the home audience, there was a fitness competition there, bodybuilding competition, and so there were some very fit people there, and one of these fit people was this very small but well proportioned Brazilian woman. And Kevin comes over and he goes, "All right, y'all," in his Georgia. I just saw the most amazing thing, and he, without pointed out who she was, but basically this fitness woman sat down, opened up a box that had I don't know if you've ever been to City Diner, but I mean they have like monster cakes. And so she had a box with 2 slices of cake and a couple Rice Krispie treats, and no fork or knife, no shame, just reached in. And as he says, she just hulked these cake slices of cake.
Cleaned out the whole box. That's
Probably
what she
been
said.
starving herself
Straight
for the competition, and
double-fisted.
now okay, it's done.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
done.
I was
Right, she
sitting
worked
at the,
hard.
I was sitting in the chair beside him when that happened.
Oh my
And
God.
I didn't see it for obvious reasons, but I
Yeah.
did see her. And we got around the corner and he didn't wait 10 seconds. Did you just see that? I was like,
He
"No,
was so
see
happy
what?"
about
He's
it.
like, you,
He's
you,
so happy.
you, he's
Then
like,
he came
you
right
saw
over
that
to the
girl
bar
that
and
just came
told
in,
us.
right?
And we're like, her? That one?
Yeah. It's tiny,
Now, I
fit
did-
lady.
I did see her flat mowing down. I mean, just
Yeah.
not even playing around, fist deep in whatever was in that box. It was good. It was
Look,
good. We got
They
around the corner,
worked
he's like,
hard.
He's like, I'm gonna tell you, he's like, that weren't no salad. That weren't no salad. That weren't no salad in that box. He's like,
Nope.
she reckoned it was carb time. That's it. That competition's over. It's time for some carbs.
It was time. She earned that.
That's not
Also,
bad.
one of our friends heard that story and immediately ran over to see if he could see it and propose marriage. So it was good for
Well,
everyone.
then there was the other one at the bar, and she was probably about, I don't know, 5'8". And if I stood next to myself, that's about how big her shoulders were.
Oh yeah.
And she had muscles that I didn't know existed. I mean, she was enormous. If she were playing D&D, she would have rolled about a 19 for strength.
Nice.
I mean,
Nice.
she was enormous. and Johnny Minion takes one look at her, looks back at me and says, I want her to turn me upside down and use my face like a mop. And I went, I don't
gotta love
even
Minion.
want to know what that means. I guess
Not
you're
good.
talking about your beard and
No follow-up
I-
questions.
No.
I don't know.
No
There
follow-up
was
questions.
never any doubt that she could. I mean, Johnny's
Yeah.
not light, but I think she could bench press him like as many times as she wanted, and maybe probably not as many times as he wanted, but
Sure.
but I mean he I've never heard anyone wanted to be a mop before.
Oh,
Yeah, that's amazing. I have no follow-up questions.
And
None.
those that saw this young lady can understand she coulda.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I got a Minion mop.
I've
Nick
never
is
seen
fired.
anyone that looked that massive before.
That's
I mean,
fantastic.
I think was she the one like had huge upper arms, like her
Yeah,
upper arms were the size
shoulders.
of my eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
The muscles
Rockstar.
rippled.
That's
they
awesome.
they were
She had
wow.
more muscles than She-Hulk did. It was awesome.
They were the
Call Marvel.
they were the size that nobody gets that big ever naturally. I don't care how much you lift, you don't get that big naturally. You're roiding out.
She's rocking it.
All right. After that, I'm lost. Where were we? Hold on.
Who knows? Let's just stay
We
in the
were
group.
cleaning the floor with Johnny Minion's face.
We're mopping Johnny
Oh,
Minion.
no, I
I
was
don't
trying
think
to
it was
forget
the
that, Chris.
floor
Thank you.
that he wanted clean.
I know. That's why I said no follow-up questions, Mark. Don't.
No, we're
follow
good.
that up.
All right. Favorite. Okay, so back to favorite things about con, and
That
we're
quote
gonna-
may have been my favorite.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, so Marisa, you have to follow that. Here you go.
Oh, that's not fair.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, my favorite thing is not like dramatic and whatever, but I will talk about how I ooked out David Weber. So I was on this super fun panel moderated by Larry Correa, who was fantastic, and David Weber, Jacob Hollow, Julie Frost, and me. So I was just like happy to be there. And we were talking about mixing up genres. So the title of the panel was Science Fiction, Mystery, and Noir. And so we were talking about, when you take the furniture of one genre and move it into the room of another genre. And so one of the audience questions was, when's a time you did that in a story that you really liked it, that you moved all this furniture around? And I immediately forgot that I had ever written any stories ever. But thankfully, by the time it was my turn, I thought of one. And the story I have in the Hit World anthology, You Pay, We Slay. So Dahlia is a medical examiner. She does sciencey medical examiner things to solve weird murders. But also it's Hit World, so she has a magical ability, and that ability is she can taste death. And she can parse the different flavors of it as long as she has a piece of the person involved. And so I was talking about the body horror and the eating little slices of dead people. And David Weber turns to my side of the panel and he goes, ooh. It was so great. It was one of my favorite reactions ever, because he was like, oh, that's interesting. Holy gosh, that's so disgusting. I cannot. And I was pretty delighted by it. And I'm pretty sure it was his reaction to that. This is the first panel I ever had that 4 separate people came up to me afterwards and they were like, what is that story? Yeah, I need to buy it. I need to buy that right now. It's like, you're welcome. I have grossed out David Weber. Please to enjoy. So that's it. It's no savage anal, but it was
Nothing.
We can't all be that lucky.
we can't all be at that level.
Yeah.
All right, John.
One of the cool moments was when we were doing the game. Larry Correa and some other authors were at an adjacent table getting set up, I think, for a charity game or something like that. And Mark Wander grabs one of the sheets from our game and goes over to Larry and says, hey, look at this, look at this. And Larry's like, oh, yeah, that's pretty awesome. And Mark comes like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Larry said it's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. Mark.
So
So one of the things I really appreciate about LibertyCon, and this is my third, is that I've been to monolithic cons and I've been to super small cons, and this particular con is like high school reunion. Yeah, you get to hang out with all your friends, but it's big enough that you get to meet new people. And so I skipped a couple things so that I could do BarCon, so that I could talk with people and meet just some fascinating folks. And like David Shearer. We had a delightful time, John and I and Zane, and just had a real fun time just talking about marketing and ads and positioning books and experiences at different cons, and it was awesome. That's the thing I really like about that's my favorite part about the con.
Thank you. Ian.
Yeah, I actually kind of want to dovetail right off of what Mark was just talking about. Getting to meet new people. There's a lot of people at CKP that I've had a chance to interact with, whether it's through Dudes in Hyperspace or whether it's CKP Confidential. But it's always all right, we've got a thing to do here. We got a show to make. We got a reading to record. There's always a task that's got to be carried out. And so, I haven't really got a chance to spend time with those folks. And LibertyCon marked the first opportunity I've had a chance to do that with a number of folks. Mark being one of them, James Chandler over there. He and I had a chance to hang out and spend some time and wrap a bunch of different cool things. Casey Moores is one that I've talked to on several occasions, but just never really had a chance to belly up to the bar with no place to be and no time to be there, and just be able to spend 30, 45 minutes, an hour, just BSing everything from family stuff to book marketing to crafting story and characters, everything under the sun. So I got to do a lot of that at this con, and I'm really, really grateful for that. The other stuff is just, to echo what everybody else is saying, hanging out with the family, which is CKP and our extended family with some of the Bane authors and people that we've had a chance to get to know over the last few years. And then honorable mentions to City Cafe and Nate's Wall of Whiskey.
Nice.
Well, the Wall of Whiskey, yeah.
Yeah, I drank the actual whiskey from Boondock Saints. It was spectacular.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic movie.
Jeremy, are you on mute? Ha! It's your turn.
I am on mute. Ian, what whiskey was that?
You would have to ask Nate. It's actual Saints whiskey, I think, is what it's called, and it's signed by the writer of the film. I think he said there's only about 1,000 bottles, and every one of them are numbered.
That's wild.
That's really
it's cool. It's good stuff.
I don't even like whiskey, and that's cool.
I do like whiskey, and that's
All right. Melissa, it is your turn.
I gotta say, I don't think my face has recovered yet from all the smiling I did this weekend, because my cheeks already hurt just from this. That was the coolest freaking weekend I've had in a long time. Just getting to hang out with everybody at the bar was amazing. But I gotta say, my favorite was just all the random people coming up to me after my salvage panel and just going, "Hey, I heard what you did." And that was hilarious. On the Fallen World panel, when we were talking about Maurice's upcoming novel with shark-headed people and all this stuff, and everyone's like, "Hey, isn't that more like Melissa's kind of book?" It was hilarious. Just the random conversations we got to have with each other, whether it was about, plotting to take over the world, write new books, or, just family stuff and catching up. It was amazing. It was a much needed weekend. Just a nice break from reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, like Marisa likes to say, we're all very feral at this point. We need social interactions, and even me, who typically doesn't like people, but I enjoy LibertyCon. I enjoy going to this, like DragonCon. Some of those that they're great for people watching and everything, but you don't get to talk to people and hang out with them. And LibertyCon was the first convention that I went to that I got to know all of you. Before I had met most of you, but it was brief and passing. But this was the first time where I actually got to hang out, meet people, talk to people, and because this is my second LibertyCon, even more so. Now it's old home week, everybody comes together and we have a great time. Like I said earlier, I talked Ian's ear off. I talked Mark's ear off, talking shop, and learned a lot, but also just caught up with people, and it was great. Of course, karaoke was good, even though Kevin Eichenberry got me up during the one song I didn't even know, and sang that one. And of course, all the drinking and the pie room, Nate's room, with all the whiskey and scotch and everything. That I felt that one the next day. That was a little rough. But yeah, no, but mainly just the family reunion and hanging out was one of my favorite parts of it. Okay, so what are things that you didn't get to do at LibertyCon this time, or that you would like to do next time, or something that you would like to see happen for the next LibertyCon? And so, boss, and usual, we're gonna go with you first. I mean, you got to do everything, but
Yeah. I'm going to have to say, this is going to sound bizarre. I'd actually like to spend a little more time at my table next year.
Mhm.
I got beaten up a number of times by a number of people who said, I've been by your table so many times and you're not there, and boo-hoo. And then I'd come to the table and everybody around me would yell at me for not being there. I'm like, you do realize that I'm the master of ceremonies, right? That I got shit to do.
Mhm.
And they'd be like, yeah, well, you should have somebody here to watch your stuff. I'm like, my stuff's not going to walk away. It's LibertyCon, So I wasn't worried about any of that. And, it's like, okay, uh, sure, I'd like to have been there to sell a couple more books, I guess. But what I really missed out on was the interaction of talking to the readers that come by and want to chat about this book or that book. Because I really didn't get a lot of time talking with readers this at LibertyCon this time. I wasn't there where I could. So next time I'll thankfully, well, I don't want to say thankfully, because I had a great time being master of ceremonies. But next time I'll have more time and be able to do that, and that'll be cool. So I guess that's it. I didn't get a chance to interact with readers as much as I wanted.
I got booted to someone else.
Okay, Marisa got booted, so we're gonna Mark, if you would.
So this was the first time that I've attended LibertyCon as a pro, and I had 5 panels I was scheduled for. I had 2 panels that were bonus panels, salvage and this fallen world, and then I ended up moderating a panel unexpectedly because the moderator didn't show. But 8 panels, and the thing that I didn't get to go to panels. I mean, I got to go to the Bane Road shows. I was excited about. Got to see opening ceremonies, but other than that, I mean, I was literally hopping room to room at one point, and like Chris said, I didn't get an opportunity to interact with readers much, unless they came to the bar. And, at the bar in the evening once the panels were done. I mean, but some of those panels, I mean, they went late. I mean, the biker panel that I was on, I think we finished up at 10. So I mean, the programming went pretty late, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I wouldn't give it up for anything.
All right, Marisa, now that you're back on.
Hello. It's like the internet knew it was my turn. It was like, no, you must go. I think a thing I have avoided doing, but would like to maybe do in the future is a reading. I haven't done one because I just haven't done one. So I think maybe next year I would like to do one.
At least you wouldn't be left like Larry, sitting there looking at all of the empty chairs as he was reading.
I feel so bad.
That's 100% why I haven't done it, because I felt like that would be my life. But I'll just try to
I've
get
had
it.
that happen.
Yeah,
I get it.
It will, right? It will someday, but I've been trying to avoid it. But I think maybe next year I'll do it, and then I'll just start like giving out stickers and try to bribe people to come. I don't know. So I think that'd be fun. And then I just somehow would like to be able to function on less sleep, because I did not sleep, and yet I still feel like I missed out on so many conversations and so much time with folks. So more time with folks. Also, Yvonne is saying, can we just acknowledge Kevin Eikenberry? And I don't know what shenanigans we're gonna call on him, but it was a cool moment that I didn't talk about. The Bain Roadshow, Kevin got to see his cover for a hardcover release from Bain for the first time, hold it in his hands. And Yvonne took a picture of it, and it was like him and Chris just like beaming over this cover, and that was really cool. It's cool to celebrate that for him and with him.
I would throw out also on the Eikenberry note, he rolled out the cover reveal for Imminence Protocol, which is the very long-awaited third book in his Protocol trilogy, Protocol War trilogy. And I've actually read those. They're on Audible, and they are fantastic. So I know there are a lot of people who are really excited to finally get the close of that series, and that's going to be coming later this year.
I can tell you that Eminence Protocol is scheduled for November 11th.
There you go.
We will be re-releasing the first two. Sleeper Protocol is on August 19th. So actually not that far from now. Vendetta Protocol, 30 September. And then Eminence Protocol, November 11th.
Yeah, those are good books, you guys.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. I also just quickly need to agree with Mark's comment in there about if there's such a thing as beauty rest. I definitely slept myself ugly at con. Good call. Same. Hard same. So.
Okay. Let's see. Where did we leave off?
Not me.
Not you. All right. Oz?
So I wish I could have stuck around for the dead dog party. Or I don't know if it was actually a party, but just, the whole dead dog thing.
Yeah.
Because those are usually a lot more chill. You get to spend some, more quality time with people. Plus, you get to spend more time with your people. But yeah, I had to blaze out of there to get home for work. So I would like to have been able to spend at least one more night at the bar with my people.
Yeah, it was nice leaving on Monday.
Yeah.
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 I recommend it.
We're all like, yeah.
Sorry, Oz. Yeah.
I do that. Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Ian.
So I was actually very fortunate. The way my panels spaced out, I was able to catch a lot of the stuff and a lot of the people that I was looking to catch up with over the con, over the course of the weekend. The one that I wasn't, though, was really kind of a bummer. Kevin Anderson gave a talk called The Popcorn Theory of Success that really kind of chronicled his career. And I would have loved to have seen that. And I don't know if the LibertyCon folks are going to post that video anywhere where we can access it after the fact or not. But I really would have loved to have seen that. But I had another panel that was scheduled for the same block. So I was not able to catch that. But I really would have liked to, because I bet there was a lot of really good insight in that one.
Awesome. And Savage Angel, Melissa.
Revenge is going to happen, Jeremy. It's going to happen. Oh, honestly, like next year, I feel like I'm going to have my feet under me a little bit better. This was like we said, we're all kind of feral at this point. And I was just kind of at one point following Marisa like a lost puppy. Like, I don't even know what to do.
You're my con wife. It was
a little overwhelming.
I am your con wife. It's great.
The default is go to the bar.
Yes, and I spent a lot of time just hanging out at the bar. And if I could have spent more time at the bar while simultaneously attending more panels, I would have done both. I will work on cloning myself for next year. But probably less sleep and just more hanging out and more coffee.
That was your second con as a professional author, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was just a great experience, and having my family there too. That was their first con. My kids were able to sit in the CKP Year Ahead panel, and they cheered for me. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Moira, my daughter, has nicknamed herself the Salvage Bun Bun, if anybody was curious.
Oh my gosh.
All her.
That's cute.
So I actually went out to dinner with the Oltoffs. I think it was Saturday night, and we're walking back to the hotel. And I guess Moira decided she was going to do this thing with me where she does the my eyes to your eyes, and she's trying to make a joke. Natalie goes, sweetie, he can't see you. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. I'm right.
That's what we're doing.
Too.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm watching you. I'm like, why are you watching him? I don't
Took
know.
a turn, man. Took a turn. That's funny.
It's fine.
All right. So one of the things that I would like to see is liquor should be available at every panel,
Oh God.
and people
Oh,
would have
yeah.
the option to opt out. It would it'd be mandatory, but you could opt out.
Mandatory.
CKP, the keg ahead.
But other than that, I think
when your cover comes up, you have to take a shot.
Oh God.
Ooh.
And every time somebody says shenanigans,
They shenanigans. You got to double
Yes.
up.
yes.
Challenge accepted, but my liver says no.
Yeah. Other than that, I think for me next year, I want to be able to live stream everything CKP. We only got to do the year ahead this year, but I want to try and set it up to where if it has CKP in the name or Four Horsemen or what have you, we're going to film it for all the people that can't go to LibertyCon. So that's the one thing that I missed that hopefully we can do next year.
Well,
I'm
one thing
okay
you could
with that.
Yeah, one thing you could totally do, Jeremy, is do some live streaming from BarCon. I think that would be hilarious.
That's not a
for
bad
people.
idea. Do some at least some.
Preferably earlier in the night.
yes.
No.
No, we want the late.
Yes. Speaking as a guy who's had to work radio remotes at clubs until 1 o'clock in the morning, there's really no good content that comes after about 10. Pro tip.
Remember the adage: "What goes at con stays
Stays at con. Yeah.
Unless it's live streamed.
Unless it's live
Yeah.
streamed, shoot.
See, I was at Tailhook 91, so I'm kind of like, maybe early on, maybe.
Yeah, in a corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my stories happened at spring break, Panama City Beach, prior to Twitter. I'm great with
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, I don't want to be the guy that people are avoiding because he's got a camera on him. You know.
Well, sure. It's gotta be
No, we'll
consensual.
avoid you for other reasons.
Agent
No.
John, have you know.
Agent Johnson.
All right.
amazing.
So we're coming to the end. So we're gonna go around the table again. I want everybody to talk about where any events or appearances or upcoming projects that you're gonna have. And so let's.
Jeremy, before you do that,
Yes.
can you pull up Kevin's? If no one shows up to a reading, is it appropriate to step into the hall, find a corner, and read like a street preacher? Because that's happening. I say we do it. It is called guerrilla readings. Authors in the wild, just reading willy-nilly. Let's do it, Kevin.
Tell it on the mountain.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
That's what I'm
Feral
saying.
authors.
Feral authors.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. So, Chris, if you would just tell us where people can see you or any projects you'll have coming up.
As was previously mentioned, Marisa and I are putting together 2 Four Horsemen books that may very well be the next 2 Four Horsemen books. So we'll be nose to the grindstone on that. I don't have any more cons until FactoryCon since I'm not doing Dragon. We were going to go to 20 books in Madrid, and then that failed. So that was going to be our big expense of the year. So we hadn't planned to go to Dragon. Now we are available, but instead we're going to go up to the National Book Festival in DC. But I don't have a table or anything like that because that's not for me. But that'll be fun, and then we'll see everybody at FactoryCon.
Thank you, Marisa.
I got the 2 books with the boss. I got Valkyries coming out. So working on some stuff to follow that up. And then my Fallen World novel, I have committed to have done this summer, but before DragonCon. Well, before DragonCon. Then I have DragonCon. Very excited about that. FactoryCon will be awesome. So if folks are going to be one of the 80,000 plus people at Dragon, come see me, because it's also going to be the triumphant return of Casey Azell. to cons.
Yay.
Okay, I'll come right back to that. Yeah, so Casey and I, Shenanigans Unleashed at Gen Con, so hang out. And Yvonne is, in fact, texting me to check in on my word count daily. So these books are getting done, y'all. So
We need to average 4,000 a day,
Ooh.
and we shall.
Starting
That's
tomorrow,
between the
I'm going to
two
get
of you,
you
right?
2 today.
Crack
Well,
that
if you
whip,
get 2
boss.
today, I had 2 today, and that's our 4.
There we are. High five, high five, high five. So
All
you can
right.
take me off the screen now.
Next, we have Mark.
So my book comes out July 12th in the Eldros Legacy. Forgotten King. I have
It's a
a
really cool cover.
couple projects I have to finish up this summer before I'm at Dragon Con. And then I will be jumping into my Hit World novel for Marisa. Yeah. And then I will be at FactoryCon in October and 20 books in November.
And do you want to say where else they'll see you on the 12th?
So on the 12th, we're going to be doing a live stream with Miss Marisa and I,
Woo!
with produced by Jeremy. We will be on this channel, and we'll be doing the book launch live.
Woohoo!
Shenanigans.
Nice.
Get
All right.
ready.
So look for that coming out. Mr. Oz.
So project-wise, working on finishing Rules of Engagement. I'm also into Bifrost Down, the next Bjorn's Berserkers novel, which will be part of the Phoenix Initiative in the Four Horsemen universe. As far as cons go, I'll be at In Conjunction, 4th of July weekend in Indianapolis. I'll be at Dragon Con. You know, find me amongst the 80,000 or so people there. And of course, FactoryCon.
All right. Ian.
So I'm fairly well done with cons for a while. I've got a couple of local events happening here around the Florida Panhandle that I'll be a part of, all culminating with on FactoryCon weekend, actually. We've got a local author event happening here at the Bay County Public Library that I'm happy to be a part of. So I'll be flying the CKP flag Southern style while you guys are all drinking up there in the Outer Banks. So spill some on the bar for me, but I'll be thinking about you. As far as projects, mentioned it earlier, The Last Argonaut is my first foray into the salvage title universe as a novel. But the planet that we'll be talking about in Last Argonaut is featured in all 3 of my short stories. So for folks who have not read those in the salvage title anthologies, I think that's Salvage Conquest, Through the Gate, and It Takes All Kinds. If you want to know what you're looking at with Akala, go check them out. They're in those stories. Lots of stuff happening coming down the pike on Dudes in Hyperspace podcast. We've got some great guests coming on, starting with actually a special presentation episode that we're going to record tomorrow night. So stay tuned later in the week for that to drop. And then, as always, you can find me online at ianjmalone.net, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay. Oh. Melissa.
You know, I really feel it's not fair following up Ian. He has such a great speaking voice.
No.
I know he's got that radio voice. You should hear him on the podcast.
I have.
He does pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
His podcast is amazing, guys. If you haven't checked it out, Dudes in Hyperspace, it's amazing.
I think somebody even mentioned that at the opening ceremonies at LibertyCon.
Oh yeah.
He
Oh,
sure
yeah.
did. That fellow is a gentleman and a scholar.
Nice.
He's a swell guy, that one.
A swell.
So I am not going to Dragon this year, but I will be at FactoryCon, and I will be bringing my children, and hopefully my husband, fingers crossed. Otherwise, I will be doing a 15-hour road trip by myself with children. It'll be great. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So as far as projects go, Marisa has my Valkyries novel because I am an overachiever, and it was also super fun to write. Hit World is like the best universe because it's urban fantasy, anything goes, and assassination is cool. So that's done. Working with Nick Steverson on our Space Hyenas trilogy. One thing we determined in our salvage panel was that if you stick the word space in front of anything, it's instantly like 1,000 times cooler. So
Yeah.
Space Hyena trilogy for the win. About 40,000 words into Salvage Bunny too, so that's coming along great. And apparently, if you don't show up at panels, because you're busy enjoying cake at the City Cafe Diner, you get ambushed and invited to write in the LVU for the upcoming anthology. So I'm really excited about that one.
Good job, Bill Webb.
The Bible. It'll be great.
All
That's
right.
awesome.
Well, for me, you'll be seeing me on this channel weekly. Next week, we have Bill Webb and Kayla Krantz coming on and to talk about their new book together. We'll also be posting, that will be live. We'll also be posting the latest installment of the Hit World Valkyrie interview series with Christy Bradley on the same day. And of course, Mark coming up on the 12th, but we have some episodes coming up before that. And I want to remind everyone to go and vote for the Dragon Award nominations. I believe the voting ends on July
19th.
July
For nominations.
19th for nominations. So go and if you're watching this channel, I'm assuming your favorite authors are CKP authors. So go ahead and vote for them. Otherwise, the only thing I have coming up is FactoryCon, going to the next family reunion. And that's about it. And so that's the end of the show. And I want to thank all of my guests for coming in today. It was great having you all. I really appreciate it. And we're going to see y'all next time. Does anybody have anything to say before we leave? No?
I miss all your faces already.
I know.
It was great seeing you all. And thanks again for coming on. And we'll catch you all next time.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
And audience, thanks for watching.
See you
Thanks for
guys.
watching.
See you next time.
Awesome.